Chapter 30. Echoes of Control. The rain had stopped by the time the team returned to the safe house, but the air still carried the weight of the storm. Water dripped from the edges of the roof, forming tiny puddles that glistened under the faint glow of a nearby street lamp. Inside, the atmosphere was heavy, a mix of exhaustion and the lingering adrenaline from their latest mission. The scent of damp clothing and stale coffee added to the sense of weariness that permeated the room. Michael sat at the dining table, his head bowed as he sifted through the files Samira had decrypted from the Nemesis server. His fingers lingered on certain phrases, his eyes narrowing as he tried to piece together Carmichael's intricate plans. Gabriel leaned against the wall, his arms crossed, his gaze distant as he stared at the cracked ceiling. His boots tapped rhythmically on the floor, a physical manifestation of his simmering frustration. Samira, her laptop perched precariously on a stack of books, was typing furiously, her focus unbroken, despite the tension that filled the room. "This is it," Samira said, her voice breaking the silence. She turned the laptop to face Michael, the screen filled with a labyrinth of data. Carmichael's contingency plans. Everything she's been working on to maintain control if Phase 4 collapsed. Michael's eyes scanned the screen, his expression hardening as he pieced together the fragmented information. She's been setting up Genesis nodes worldwide, smaller hubs designed to replicate what we just took down. If we don't stop this now, she'll rebuild faster than we can act. Gabriel's voice was sharp, his frustration evident. And where do we even start? She's scattered these nodes across the globe. We can't hit them all. Samira's fingers flew over the keyboard as she highlighted a specific section of the data. We don't have to. There's a central command protocol that ties them all together. If we take out the control system, the entire network collapses. Michael straightened, his jaw set. Where is it? Samira hesitated, then pointed to a map on the screen. Here. A hidden facility in Eastern Europe, high security, deep underground. It's the core of her operations. Gabriel exhaled sharply. Of course it is, because nothing with Nemesis is ever simple. Michael pushed back from the table, his resolve clear. Then that's where we go. This ends with Carmichael. The flight to Eastern Europe was long and silent. The team traveled under forged identities, their gear carefully concealed in diplomatic crates. Michael stared out the window of the plane, the reflection of the clouds below blending with his own troubled expression. Every glance from a stranger in the terminal felt like a potential threat. Every shadow, a possible ambush. They reached the outskirts of a remote town by nightfall, the safe house arranged by Samira's contacts offering little comfort. The cold seeped through the thin walls, and the sparse furnishings amplified the sense of isolation. Michael stood by the window, his gaze fixed on the distant silhouette of the mountains where the facility was hidden. The pale light of the moon bathed the landscape in an eerie glow, and the faint howl of wind outside seemed to mirror his own unease. Gabriel joined him, his voice low. You think this is it? The final move? Michael didn't turn. It has to be. If we don't stop her here, we might not get another chance. Gabriel nodded, his expression unreadable. Just make sure we all walk out of this. I'm not ready to lose anyone else. The approach to the facility was grueling. The narrow mountain path was shrouded in fog, the rocky terrain treacherous underfoot. The team moved cautiously, their breath visible in the frigid air. Samira consulted her tablet periodically, the GPS feed guiding them toward the hidden entrance. Each step forward felt heavier, the weight of their mission pressing down on them. We're close, she whispered, her voice barely audible over the wind. There's an access tunnel just ahead. It leads directly to the lower levels. Michael nodded, signaling for the team to spread out. Gabriel took point, his rifle raised, his movements silent. The entrance was hidden behind a cluster of boulders, the steel door blending seamlessly with the rock. Samira quickly hacked the keypad, the door hissing open with a faint rush of air. The tunnel beyond was dimly lit, the walls lined with pipes and conduits. The faint hum of machinery vibrated through the air, a reminder of the facility's purpose. The metallic scent of the confined space mixed with the distant sound of machinery, creating an oppressive atmosphere. The team moved quickly, their footsteps muffled against the metal floor. The control room was a stark contrast to the utilitarian corridors. Rows of monitors displayed live feeds from the Genesis nodes, each one a window into Carmichael's sprawling network. At the center of the room stood a sleek console, its interface glowing with an ominous red light. The air was cold and sterile, a sharp reminder of the precision Nemesis prided itself on. Samira moved to the console, her fingers dancing across the keyboard as she accessed the control system. "This is it," she said. "Once I upload the virus, it'll spread through the entire network. The nodes will shut down one by one." Michael and Gabriel took up positions near the entrance, their weapons trained on the hallway beyond. The faint sound of boots on metal reached their ears, the echo growing louder with each passing second. "We've got company," Gabriel muttered. Michael's grip on his rifle tightened. "Hold them off, Samira. How long?" 5 minutes, she replied, her voice calm despite the tension. The first wave of guards stormed the hallway, their weapons raised. Michael and Gabriel opened fire, their movements precise and synchronized. Bullets ricocheted off the walls, the confined space amplifying the cacophony of the firefight. Sparks flew as shots hit the metal walls, the air thick with the acrid smell of gunpowder. Samira's voice cut through the chaos. 70%, keep them back." Gabriel tossed a flash grenade, the burst of light disorienting the attackers and buying them precious seconds. "They're not letting up," he said, reloading his weapon. "How much longer?" 90%, Samira said, her fingers flying over the keyboard. "Almost there." The final wave of guards pressed forward, their tactics more aggressive. Michael took down one with a precise shot, then turned to Gabriel, his voice sharp. "Cover the left." Gabriel nodded, pivoting to take out an attacker attempting to flank them. The tension in the room was palpable, every second stretching into an eternity. Each shot fired felt heavier, the stakes higher than they'd ever been. The terminal let out a soft chime, and Samira's voice rang out. "Done. The virus is deployed." Michael threw a smoke grenade, the thick plume obscuring their escape as the team retreated back through the tunnel. The sound of pursuit faded as they reached the surface, the cold night air hitting them like a wave. Back at the safe house, the team gathered around Samira's laptop, watching as the Genesis nodes went offline one by one. The map on the screen lit up with red markers, each one signaling a shutdown. The tension in the room eased slightly, replaced by the cautious hope of victory. "It's working," Samira said, a faint smile breaking through her exhaustion. "The network's collapsing." Gabriel let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. "We did it." Michael's gaze remained fixed on the screen. "This is a start, but Carmichael's still out there. She'll come for us now, harder than ever." Samira's expression sobered. "Then we make sure we're ready, whatever it takes." The storm outside had passed, but a new one was on the horizon. For the first time, however, the team felt the tide beginning to turn. They had struck at the heart of Nemesis, and now it was time to finish what they had started.